The helicopter blades whirred, cleaving through the humid jungle air as Command Sergeant Major Patrick Tad Tadina crouched in the doorway, his eyes scanning the dense canopy below. At just 5'5" and 125 pounds, he was a small man with an outsized reputation, one of Vietnam's most decorated and feared Rangers. As the chopper descended toward the landing zone, Tad's mind raced through the mission ahead. 5 years of continuous combat had honed his instincts to a razor's edge. He knew the NVA was out there, waiting. His team of 6 Rangers would be inserting deep behind enemy lines, outnumbered and outgunned. Their mission: locate and disrupt a major supply route feeding the Ho Chi Minh Trail. Tad checked his customized silenced pistol one last time. They'd be on the ground in seconds, and the hunt would begin. Despite leading over 1,000 long-range patrols, Tad had never lost a man. But this mission felt different. Intel suggested the enemy knew they were coming. As the skids touched down, Tad's eyes locked onto movement in the tree line. In one fluid motion, he raised his weapon and squeezed the trigger. The figure dropped silently as Tad and his team melted into the jungle. The Ranger, known as Ghost, was again on the prowl. The path to becoming a Ranger is grueling, designed to weed out all but the toughest and most determined soldiers. For every 100 who attempt to join their ranks, barely a handful succeed. Statistics show that less than 25% of candidates who begin the selection process successfully become Rangers. The training pushed men to their absolute limits, physically, mentally, and emotionally. Sleep deprivation, relentless physical challenges, and psychological stress are constant companions. Candidates are expected to operate effectively under extreme pressure, master advanced combat tactics, and develop the iron will necessary to survive behind enemy lines. Patrick Tad Tadina's journey to joining this elite brotherhood was anything but typical. Born in Honolulu in 1942 to a family of Filipino, Chinese, German, Irish, and Hawaiian descent, Tad grew up on the rough streets of Hawaii. This diverse ethnic background would later prove invaluable, allowing him to blend seamlessly into the varied landscapes of Southeast Asia. As a youth, he skirted the edges of the law, running with a troublesome crowd. By his own admission, he was a young drug runner, always one step away from serious jail time. The military offered Tad a way out, a chance to channel his street smarts and survival instincts into something greater. Enlisting in 1962, Tad quickly distinguished himself. Standing at just 5'5" and weighing a mere 125 pounds, his small stature and dark complexion, which might have been disadvantaged elsewhere, became valuable assets in the jungles of Southeast Asia. Tad could move with a natural stealth that larger men simply couldn't match, and his appearance allowed him to blend in with local populations when necessary. Tadina's first taste of combat came in 1965 during the intervention in the Dominican Republic. Assigned to the 82nd Airborne Division as a company sniper, he got his first real-world experience in the complexities of military operations. This early exposure to combat would prove crucial in shaping his future as a Ranger. But Tad's innate tactical sense and unflinching courage truly set him apart. During his initial training and early assignments, he displayed an uncanny ability to read terrain, anticipate enemy movements, and remain calm under fire. These skills caught the attention of his superiors, who recognized the makings of an exceptional Ranger in Tad. The training to become a Long-Range Reconnaissance Patrol, or LRRP specialist, and then a Ranger, pushed Tad to his limits. He honed his already impressive marksmanship to a lethal degree of accuracy. He mastered the art of silent movement through dense jungle, learning to become virtually invisible to the untrained eye. Tad became an expert in fieldcraft, able to live off the land for extended periods while evading detection. Perhaps most importantly, Tad developed the mental fortitude required for deep penetration missions. Operating in small teams far behind enemy lines meant making split-second decisions with lives hanging in the balance. It required nerves of steel and the ability to function effectively under extreme stress for days or even weeks at a time. As Tad progressed through his training, he began to stand out even among the elite. His instructors noted his exceptional situational awareness and ability to think several steps ahead of the enemy. Tad seemed to have a sixth sense for danger, an instinct that would save countless lives in the years to come. By the time he deployed to Vietnam in 1966, Tad Tadina was a fully fledged Ranger, part of the legendary 173rd Airborne Brigade's LRRP unit. What set him apart wasn't just his individual skills, impressive as they were. Tad had a natural gift for leadership, able to inspire and guide his fellow Rangers through the most harrowing situations. His unique background and life experiences had forged him into a warrior unlike any other. Tad could move like a ghost through the jungle, strike with precision, and lead men into and out of the most dangerous situations imaginable. As he prepared for his first combat missions in Vietnam, few could have predicted the impact the small, unassuming man from Hawaii would have on the war, or the legend he would become in Ranger lore. Tad Tadina's combat record in Vietnam was nothing short of extraordinary. Over the course of nearly 5 years of continuous combat service, an exceptionally long time for any soldier, he led more than 1,000 long-range patrol missions deep into enemy territory. What made this feat even more remarkable was that throughout his entire time in Vietnam, Tadina never lost a single man under his command, showcasing his remarkable leadership, tactical acumen, and unwavering commitment to his fellow Rangers. Tadina's approach to combat was a blend of meticulous planning, stealth, and controlled aggression. He had an uncanny ability to anticipate enemy movements and set up devastatingly effective ambushes. One of his fellow Rangers recalled, quote, "Tad could walk to within feet of enemies he knew to be lying in wait for him. His sixth sense of danger, combined with his small stature and diverse ethnic background, allowed him to pass for a local on numerous occasions, gathering crucial intelligence that saved countless American lives." His combat exploits became the stuff of legend within the Ranger community. In one particularly daring mission, Tadina infiltrated an enemy hospital to free a POW. The facility, hidden deep in enemy territory, was a decaying relic of concrete and steel. Armed with only a silenced .22 pistol, he moved like a shadow through the dense jungle. Entering through a broken window, Tadina navigated the dimly lit corridors. The faint smell of antiseptic mixed with neglect hung in the air. He spotted a lone guard dozing near a door and silenced him with a muffled shot. Room after room revealed nothing but empty beds and overturned equipment. The facility had been recently abandoned. Frustration gnawed at him as he retreated, but his solo infiltration mission became a whispered legend that showcased Tadina's blend of audacity and tactical precision, which became his hallmark. Another time, Tadina's team found themselves pursued by a much larger enemy force. Rather than attempt to outrun their pursuers, Tadina led the enemy patrol into a carefully prepared ambush. Utilizing the dense jungle terrain, he positioned his team strategically, turning the tables on their attackers. The ambush was sprung in a matter of minutes, and the enemy force was eliminated, showcasing Tadina's tactical brilliance and fearless leadership. Despite his numerous close calls, Tadina seemed to possess an almost supernatural ability to emerge unscathed from the most harrowing situations. He was wounded 3 times during his service. One incident involved an ambush in which he was leading his team as the point man. The enemy, confused by his appearance, hesitated to open fire, giving Tadina the chance to react before the enemy shot him. He opened fire and called out the ambush to his team before being shot in both calves. A bullet tore through his leg, nearly severing his calf muscle. Tadina recalled, quote, "When I cut my pants off and patched myself up, I looked at it, and my calf was hanging down on my ankles." Yet each time he was wounded, he recovered and returned to combat. His resolve only strengthened. Tadina's effectiveness on the battlefield didn't go unnoticed by his superiors or the enemy. He became one of the most decorated soldiers in the Vietnam War, earning 10 Bronze Stars, 7 of which were with V-Device for valor, 2 Silver Stars, 4 Army Commendation Medals, 2 of them for valor, 3 Purple Hearts, and 3 Vietnamese Crosses of Gallantry. The Viet Cong came to fear the small, silent ranger, who seemed to materialize from the jungle like a ghost, striking with deadly precision before vanishing once again into the undergrowth. Such was his reputation that the enemy placed a bounty on his head, a fact that Tadina wore as a badge of honor. This bounty only served to cement his legendary status among his fellow soldiers and further demoralize the enemy, who found him nearly impossible to catch. As his reputation grew, so did the complexity and importance of his missions. Tadina and his team were often tasked with the most critical and dangerous assignments, from gathering intelligence on enemy troop movements to disrupting supply lines and rescuing downed pilots. Time and again, Tadina delivered results that seemed impossible, earning the unwavering trust of his superiors and the men who served under him. By the time he left Vietnam in July 1970, Tad Tadina had set a record as the longest continuously serving Ranger in the conflict. His exploits not only contributed significantly to the war effort, but also helped define the capabilities and tactics of modern Ranger units. The legend of the Ghost of Vietnam was firmly established, inspiring a new generation of Rangers to follow in his footsteps. Tad Tadina's leadership style was as unique as his combat record. Standing barely over 5 feet tall, he commanded respect not through physical intimidation, but through an unwavering commitment to excellence and a deep sense of responsibility for his men. He once said, quote, "Size doesn't mean a damn thing. It's what you do with what you've got that counts." His approach to leadership was shaped by a profound understanding of the psychological toll of combat. Tadina knew that mental toughness was just as crucial as physical prowess in the high-stakes world of long-range reconnaissance. He implemented rigorous training regimens that pushed his Rangers to their limits, but always led by example. One of his former team members recalled, quote, "Tad never asked us to do anything he wouldn't do himself. He was always the first one in and the last one out." Tadina's attention to detail was legendary. Before each mission, he meticulously planned every aspect, from entry and exit strategies to contingency plans. This thorough preparation, combined with his intuitive grasp of jungle warfare, resulted in an astonishing success rate. Out of over 1,000 missions led by Tadina, 85% achieved their primary objectives without enemy contact, a testament to his ability to move undetected through hostile territory. The statistics surrounding Tadina's combat record are staggering. Over his 5 years in Vietnam, he was credited with personally eliminating over 100 enemy combatants. His team was responsible for calling in artillery and airstrikes that resulted in an estimated 1,000 to 1,500 enemy casualties. Yet, perhaps the most impressive statistic was 0 fatalities among his own men. His legacy is perhaps best summed up by the words of Major General Eldon Bardwell, himself a decorated Vietnam veteran, quote, "Tad Tadina set the standard for what a Ranger should be. His tactical brilliance, his dedication to his men, and his unwavering courage in the face of overwhelming odds made him a legend in his own time. But more than that, he shaped the future of special operations warfare." As Tadina transitioned from active combat to training roles later in his career, he continued to influence the next generation of Rangers. His experiences and teachings formed the backbone of modern Ranger doctrine, ensuring that the lessons learned in the jungles of Vietnam would not be forgotten. After Vietnam, Tad Tadina's service continued through the Grenada and Desert Storm conflicts. However, his experiences in Vietnam, particularly the loss of his brother, profoundly shaped his future. Despite a policy allowing soldiers to avoid combat if they had a brother serving in Vietnam, Tadina's older brother insisted on joining the fight. Against Tad's advice, he deployed and was tragically lost after only 3 months. This event deepened Tadina's resolve to protect his men and influenced his later commitment to training others. Upon retiring in 1992, after 30 years of service, Tadina channeled his experience into preparing the next generation of warriors. As a civilian contractor, he trained air marshals and special operations forces, and his work took him to Afghanistan, Iraq, and Pakistan well into his 60s. His dedication was driven by a desire to ensure that future soldiers were fully prepared for the realities of combat, a mission given added urgency by his brother's memory. In 1995, Tadina was inducted into the Ranger Hall of Fame, recognizing his combat record and enduring influence on special operations tactics. Despite his accolades, he remained humble, often deflecting praise to his fellow Rangers. Tadina's passing in 2020 at age 77 marked the end of an era. From the streets of Hawaii to the jungles of Vietnam and beyond, he had redefined what it meant to be a Ranger. His story of extraordinary courage, personal sacrifice, and unwavering commitment continues to inspire those who follow in his footsteps.